Okay, everybody, let's try this again. Let's try round 2. I have now answered about, I don't know, 8 or 10 emails, and it seems like it would just be better if I came back and talked to you all at once instead of answering all of these separate emails. I can tell there is an awful lot of confusion about what is required. Some of that confusion is definitely my fault, and some of it is not. But I think the important thing is to try to put the confusion to the side for the moment. It doesn't matter if somebody was unclear that they were supposed to cite to the videos as well as the readings. If I gave you content, you're responsible for it. You know, I just change it up. Sometimes I give you videos, sometimes readings. It's because variety is good, and not everybody likes to learn by reading, and not everybody likes to learn by watching. So, but all of those little things that were said to me, and the other things go to the side, and the big things, like whether it's 2 or whether it's 3. The real point, the real thing that we need to solve, and I am open to ideas. I've got a couple ideas. I'll run them by you. You can tell me what you think. The main thing that I'm concerned about is that, generally speaking, this class's discussion has not been one that demonstrates a high degree of familiarity with the readings and the videos assigned. And I challenge you to go back and take a look through everybody's responsive answers, and you will see that you are not substantively talking about what you read. The one thing that is very clear, and I would hope there is no confusion about, if you all think back to the very first day that we all met and everybody who is in this class was present, I made this very big deal about trying to incentive you to read by telling you that if you did a really good job of demonstrating during these discussions that you have read the text, that I would let you off the hook for the midterm. And at that point, I told you that you were supposed to reflect what you read and wind what you read into your discussion. And I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing the occasional quote, you know, like 5 or 6 words thrown in occasionally. Or maybe you'll say something like the such and such reading said, but you don't really tell me what the such and such reading said, and you don't really apply it. And I'm using the you word loosely because, you know, different people did different things. And there are a couple of you, maybe 3 or 4, that actually, you know, follow the directions and have been reflecting the readings in your work. But most of you have not. And my main problem is I don't want to punish anybody. I don't want to take points away from you. I'd like you to all get A's. I've had classes where everybody got an A. It's great when that happens. But in order for me to give you an A, you've got to give me a demonstration, demonstrable proof that you actually know the material, not just you know, like throwing some 2 words in there from the first paragraph of the reading, which is what some of you are doing, but actually using the readings to thoughtfully couch your responses. And that's what it asks for. And I have to say, if you go back and take a look at the syllabus, you will see that it asks for it in the section at the top where it talks about the readings. And that's the section that I dropped in to the announcement box. But if you go and look at the calendar, you will see that, you know, like all over the place, it reminds you to reference the readings, to talk about the readings, and also to give the citation. And it's not about the citation as much as, you know, it's about digging into the readings, showing me that you understand. I'd really like to figure out some way to give you all great grades. But it requires us to figure out how to give you a chance to demonstrate that you actually did the readings. I am thinking probably it's useless or too much work, or nobody is going to want to go back in and like redo all the week's worth of work. It will stress everybody out. So right this minute, what I'm thinking is that the few of you who actually, you know, did what you were supposed to do can still be let out of the midterm. But all of those who did not really demonstrate a high degree of familiarity with the readings, perhaps what we can do is let you take the midterm, and if you do well demonstrating that you understand the material, on the midterm, then I will go back and I will, credit you or waive you or give you, I don't know, asylum, or I don't know what word I'm looking for whatever bad points you got before, and we will let the midterm grade supersede any bad stuff. I don't really know how else to do it. I apologize for whatever confusion there has been that has been my fault, but I also want to say, you guys, the reason that we set this class up this way, so that we only meet 3 times and we use those 3 times as workshops to actually do some applied stuff, is so that you could travel for your athletics. And the problem with that is, since we're not in a classroom together every week, I don't have a chance to go over the stuff with you. I don't. So, and plus, this isn't a lecture class. So the thing is, if you don't take the initiative and follow the directions and actually, get into the material on your own, it's problematic, because this is kind of like half independent study, or not independent on your own, but, half self-motivated study. And then the other half are those 3 workshops. So you have to take some responsibility for that. So here's the thing. I would really like to do it however you would like it, whatever you think will make it easiest to motivate yourself to actually get into those readings, watch the videos, and think about them in the context of the questions I've asked. We can stick with the discussion board format, but we're going to have to do it my way. And by my way, I mean you're actually going to have to couch your answers in information and concepts and ideas that come right out of those readings. Not just tell somebody, wow, I really think that's a cool business, and I can see how that would be, like a neat thing, and it could be expanded, blah, 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 with no reference whatsoever to the readings. That can't happen. So the alternative, I think, is to do a weekly quiz where I basically ask you 5 questions or something off the material, and I can see whether or not you've actually read. You tell me. That's why I gave you a link, and you can all vote, and you can talk about it amongst yourselves and decide how you would prefer it from this point forward. It's not me wanting to make your life more difficult. It's me needing to see that you are actually grappling with the material, and you are actually reading it and thinking about it, and not just, like skimming it. And, I don't know what you're doing. I really don't. Maybe you are reading it, but if you are not demonstrating it. So that's the thing, and I say you loosely because, as I said, a few of you are, and some of you do sometimes, and some of you don't do other times. But the point is, I need to see it in order to give you the grade. I need to know that you learned. I don't want this class to feel like basket weaving that you can just kind of breeze through and show up at the workshops, because that's not what this is. So go ahead and think about it, talk about it, accept my apologies, please, for whatever part of the confusion that I have caused. Look at yourself in the mirror a little bit for not actually paying that much attention to the syllabus, and know that together we're going to both have to make some changes. And I don't want to make it more difficult than it needs to be. I just want to hear from you what you think the best way to move forward to get me that demonstration of familiarity with the materials that I have signed, so that I really know that you get it, that you understand it, and that you're familiar with it. All right, I'm going to give it some more thought tonight, but right this minute I'm leaning toward having everybody but the very few people who actually follow directions take the midterm, and if you get a decent grade and show me there that you've grasped the material, then I will let that grade supersede whatever problems you've had up to this point. I hope that you will think that's fair. If you have a better idea, let me know. And I will get back to you probably tomorrow or the next day. Have a great weekend.